Hello everybody, this is TechNolli, and today we're going to do a build. We're going to do the complete build, point of view, and we're going to do the EFI for this one. This is a Hackintosh, of course, and we're going to do dual boot. So we'll have Windows and Mac OS on this one. I chose the ASRock Z490 Phantom Gaming iTX. This is an iTX. And it's a super stable motherboard, and it has Thunderbolt, so that makes it really nice. And we've got the i9-10850K 10-core processor. And this customer chose to go with 64 gigabytes. Crucial RAM on that one. And we have a 2 terabyte NVMe for Mac OS, and we've got a 1 terabyte for Windows. We're going to use this all-in-one cooler. I really like this cooler. This is the ID cooling, and it goes together very nicely and works really well. RGB too, so that's kind of nice. Now here's a different one. We're using the Radeon Pro WX5100. You guys all know how hard it is right now to get graphics cards, so this is a real good choice. And we've got the Game Max 600 watt power supply to power this thing. So, and of course, the NZXT 210 iTX case. Really nice and compact, but it really does a good job. They just make great cases. So let's get started building this one, and we'll show you every step. All right, let's go. Okay guys, I'm gonna get started here with the case on this one and put in the cooler first. So on here, we just unscrew this one bolt and then pull out, and it comes open just like that. So while I'm on the bottom here, I'm going to show you, we've got filters for cooling here for the power supply. Got a filter right there. We've got 2 fans inside that come with it. This is the back of the case. Of course, our power supply is going to go here, motherboard. And then we've got these side cover here that we want to take off. So let's take these thumb screws off, and we'll pull that off so you can see the back side. And here's all of our front panel cables. We've got our fan that we have to plug into the motherboard for our case fans. You can mount a couple of 2.5-inch SATAs here if you like. That's what this is for. And there would be room down here for 3.5. So you're not too limited on space for drives, okay? And then here is our microphone headphone. Now that does both, and it comes with a little plug that splits them, okay? USB-C, USB 3 power switch. Okay, all right. Now, let's get this all-in-one fan out, okay? Okay. So here we go. Comes with the instruction booklet, of course. ID cooling. And right in here we've got all of our screws and everything we need to mount it to different CPU coolers, or CPUs, motherboards and things. So this will work on Intel, it'll work on AMD. So you can go either way on this one. It'll even work on Threadripper. All right, so got all of this. And then in here is, this is cool. This is the cable and the little controller right here for your RGB. So you got mode, speed, brightness, colors, and then this hooks up all of your RGB together. Okay, so I wait and do all of that last when I'm doing my cable management. All right, so what we need is the pump and the radiator. Let's take this out. You can go ahead and take that off because it still has a sticker on the bottom. And we're gonna go ahead and take it out of the bag. Now, what I'm gonna do on this, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna mount this. So it's gonna go down in here like this and mount in there like that. I hope you can see that. Let me pull it up here in the light. I'm not at my normal place I do business or do videos, guys, so I apologize for the lighting being kind of crappy. So we're gonna mount the fans on here, and then this cooler will be like this. And as long as your pump is lower than the top of the radiator, then you're okay for any type of, you know, air in the lines or anything like that. So it's gonna be about like this. So we're gonna be okay on that. So let's go ahead and see how this mounts. Okay guys, so what we have to do is take this front panel off right here, okay? So to do that, it's a little snug. So I got these tweezers right here, and I'm gonna squeeze together this little clip that holds the front panel on. So I'm gonna squeeze that together and then put a screwdriver right here and kind of pry out a little bit to get it started. And it is kind of tight. Okay, there we go. And then I'll squeeze this one together too. Right here a little bit. There we go. All right, let's lift it up and see if we can continue along. And then let's come over here and squeeze these together to get it loosened up. Okay, there we go. And do this one here a little bit. There we go. All right, now we can get to the panel we need to mount our fan, our cooler to, okay? So let's get this out. Okay, let's go ahead and take this out. Get these loosened up. And this one. Okay. All right, there we go. So this is what we're going to mount our fan to. All right, so let me get this out of the way and get the fan back up here. Okay, so here's our frame. So let's just remove this filter, get it out of our way. There we go. All right, so we have to remember, we're putting it back on the case like that, so the radiator is going to mount here. Okay. Okay, let me grab the radiator. Okay, so like I said, it's going to mount like this. Okay? All right. So first thing we're going to do is very simply, let's just mount our fans that come with it. Okay, these are the radiator fans. And guys, what I like to do on these is here, these are the RGB and the fan connector, power connectors. So I like to mount the fan like this and have my cables going this way so I can get them into the side of the case. Try to keep the cables nice and neat. So that's how we'll do it. And we'll do it like that. That's how I normally do it, just like that. Now, we'll grab our bag of screws that came with this cooler. And we're gonna need these long ones right here in these packages. Some long screws. And that's what we mount these with. All right, so let me get this done. And we'll continue on with it. And we'll just tighten them down. Not too tight, don't have to go crazy. And we'll grab these and tighten them down. Okay, now let's go ahead and mount this panel on our radiator. And you'll see the holes line up right here, here, here. So they give you the screws, these little short ones with the flat heads on them. And we'll just get it started here. What I like to do is get one in the corner and one in this corner, and then we can go crazy. Okay, so there's a total of 8. Okay, so all done with that. Okay, now let's put this little filter back on, see if it fits. There we go. Just kind of snap it down into place. There. Okay, let's get the case and put it in there. Okay guys, the easiest way to mount this is just to put the case up like this. Grab your complete cooler, drop all the cables inside, pull this over to the side a little bit, and drop it in. There it is. Now, let's check our cable situation. So remember, we have all of these cables coming from our fans. Hope you can see this, guys. I know the lighting's terrible, but the fan cables, of course, down to the motherboard. But I'm going to put my RGBs to the back of the case. So there's an RGB. Try to keep my cables nice, not tangled all up and everything. This looks better. There's an RGB. I'll put it back here, up in this little spot up here. And the other one. Put it under these cables and up here. All right. So now that I know everything's going to work out nice, so there's my, I'll go ahead and screw this down. So we are done with the front of the case. Okay, now I can take the front and just snap it on. There's the front. Now the top has a little lip right there, and the bottom doesn't. So just put it like that and just snap it into place. Goes back together a lot easier. Okay, so here we are. Now let's go ahead and take out this box right here. This has all of our motherboard screws and things that come with the case. And we'll get started on the motherboard. We're going to mount the CPU, the RAM, and the 2 NVMe drives on the motherboard before we put it in here. Okay? Be right back. Okay guys, here we go with the ASRock. And let me show you what's in this. It's a nice, I've used several, probably 30 or 40 of this motherboard, and it just really works well. We've got HDMI and display port, but we're going to use a graphics card, so we're okay. We do have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it's working, the stock one. And we have USB 3, USB 3.2, Thunderbolt or USB-C, 2 more USB 3.2, and LAN connector, of course, audio. Really nice board. So let me show you. This is kind of tricky. One NVMe goes under here, under this heat sink, and the other one goes on the back of the board. All right, so let's get started with those. Okay guys, now first thing you do is go ahead and let's put this NVMe in here. So there's 2 Phillips screws down here you need to loosen. We'll take those all the way out. There's one and another one. Okay, then this is just these 2 clips lift this thing, this little daughter board out of here, and that is where our NVMe goes. So let's go ahead, pop these 2 screws out. And they are long. Okay. Now in the box, they give you NVMe screws. So let's see if we can find them. There's one right there. Here's another one over here. By the way, in this box, you've got your Wi-Fi antenna here, and it does come with some SATA cables in case you want to put in some SATAs. So, got a few things there. Okay, now the NVMe is going to sit to here, and I'll just go ahead and put the 2 terabyte in there. All right, so here we go. Two terabyte, and it just slides in here like that, and then you put a screw on the other side. I always use a magnetic screwdriver, guys, because it makes your life a lot easier. Then I center it in there. Okay, that's good. Now, let's go ahead and peel this heatsink compound tape, and we'll go ahead and get this started. Long screws. Get it started, and then we'll start the other one, and then we'll tie it down. All right, there we go. Okay, now we can just put that right back in the board. Snaps in just like a memory stick would. It's kind of cool. And then we'll put our screws down in that area down here, which without a magnetic screwdriver, I really don't know how you would do it. You would fumble for a while. Okay, there we go. Now let's flip it over and let's put in this NVMe. Now I'm going to tell you right now, this has got a bunch of, see how it's coppery looking? It's kind of a film, and what I do is I take my screwdriver and just clean that off, because you'll never get the screw in unless you do. So just kind of clean that hole out. All right, let's put the 1 terabyte in here. And just slide it in here. The little screw. And there we go. Tie it down. Okay, there we go. So we are good with that. Now, let's mount the CPU, okay? So, let me get this out of here. All right. Okay, so here's our CPU. Comes with a little booklet and a sticker. Okay, now the most important part about putting in the CPU is to not touch what's under this little plastic guard, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right here, this little lever, and kind of pull it away and lift it up. And underneath here are, I don't know, thousands of pins. And if you touch that area, you'll bend them. And you can just put the motherboard away and throw it in the trash. All right, so be careful. Take your CPU out. I always try to grab it by the sides. I don't want my greasy fingers on those connections. And it says Intel Core 9, and that's what goes that way. And there's notches right here on either side that line up with the socket. I don't know if you can see that, but they line up with the socket. So just lay it in there gently. And you'll feel it. It won't move. Okay, and then pull that down. Make sure that little lip goes under that bolt. And then, voila, put your lever down, tie it under here. This pops off, and we are mounted. We are good. Let's go ahead and throw the RAM in here. Okay, 32 gig sticks. Now on this motherboard, it only has the latch releases on this side. This side, they're just straight. Now, they can only go in one way, right? This side is shorter than this side. So what you do is you just line up the slots right here to go with the little notch in there. So slide it in and make sure it snaps down. And put the other one in. There we go. So we're done. We'll go ahead and pull the little plastic off here, protection. Okay, a little fan up here. Nice board. They really build, you know, for Hackintosh computers, I'm using a lot of ASRock motherboards because a lot of them have Thunderbolt. So, real nice boards. Let's get it in the case. Okay guys, now while you have this particular board set up like this, we're going to go ahead and mount the bracket that goes on here that holds the pump on for the CPU cooling. So we need to get this little bracket out, this funny looking bracket. And we need to put screws in this. It goes through the motherboard. This mounts like this. Okay? So what we're going to do is go ahead and put in the bolts that go in here that come with the water cooler. All right, so let's get this started. So here are the bolts that go up through the motherboard. Now on Intel units, you use this notch right here, not the upper one, but the lower one. Put that in there like that. All four of them. Just go ahead and get that done. Okay, and what's really nice about this kit, they give you one extra in case you drop one and can't find it. It's really nice. Now, if you'll notice, this area right here, let me put it against the white case. This area is kind of notched out a little more than this one. And the reason is because there are screws on the back of Intel's that those need to line up in. So let's flip this board over. And we'll see those two bolts sticking through. And this then goes in the holes. Just line up all four of them. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but okay, we'll do it. All right, and you'll notice, hopefully, that those bolts are now not in the way or on top of this bracket. So we're good to go there. Now guys, you'll notice that this bracket is laying on this NVMe, and I don't really like that. I mean, it would probably be fine, but it's kind of bending it when I put pressure on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to cut back this rubber to give more space. And I only know this because I'm just going to use a knife and just cut it. Is because I've done so many of these. I just don't want that pressure on there. Let me cut that. Okay, so I cut it. Now I can just peel those off. And that should give us a little more space. Let's see how it fits now. There we go. Now, when I tighten those bolts down, nothing is going to flex the NVMe. All right, cool. All right, let's flip it over. And what we want to do now is take these are little black washers, rubber. Okay, and we just want to put one on each of these standoffs coming through here. Okay, one on each. Then we're going to take these bolts, or these nuts actually, and screw them onto each one. They're all thread. So we'll just screw these on here. Now, if you have it, I've got this little screwdriver right here that has these replaceable tips, and it fits those bolts perfectly. If not, you can finger tighten them all the way down. Okay, so I'll just give them a little snugness, nothing crazy. There we go. And then just check that out back there. Yeah, everything looks good. Yep. Okay, now we can mount the motherboard. Okay guys, so let's get out the box that came with the case. And we need to get some motherboard screws. Comes with all kind of goodies. Comes with zip ties. This is that cable that goes up here so you can separate your headphones and microphone. Okay, that's the H210. Okay, let's see here. Now the motherboard screws on this one are these little chorus thread screws. They say 6 by 32 flat screw. Okay, so let's go ahead and lay this on its side. I sure hope you can see in here, but the motherboard just sits on these 4 standoffs right down here. So let's just get her in place. You have to kind of tuck it under this bracket and then put it in. It lines up with the back of the case beautifully, and then put our 4 screws in. Okay, here are the 6 by 32. I need 4 of them. All right, magnetic screwdriver. This is from Amazon, Amazon Basics, and it is a ratchet, and it reverses. So I think it was $9. Well worth the money. All right, let's just put a screw in each corner, and we'll be done with this. Okay, there it is, guys. Hope you can see that. Now we're going to put some thermal paste on the CPU before we put the pump on. All right. It comes with, the cooler comes with this little syringe of thermal paste. So you can go ahead and I just put like a line right there. And I put a dot over here and a dot over here, and that's plenty really, guys. There's enough in here for 2 CPUs. Okay, now don't forget, there's a paper thing right here. So let's take that off. Let's peel that off. Then we're gonna need one more thing. We're gonna need the bracket that goes on here for our particular CPU. Okay, so you'll notice the 2 different brackets. This one is square, and this one is rectangular. This is for AMD, this is for Intel. Now what I want to do is, I want to put this bracket on so my pipes are straight, okay? So remember I said I wanted to set it like this. I hope you can see. I want to put it like that. So let's see if I put this bracket on, if I can get it square. Okay, there it is. All right, now let's see if I can mount this on here. Just like that. Okay, so now I got my pipes coming very neatly right here. It is below the top of the radiator, so I don't have to worry about anything. And then I use these thumb screws with the Phillips head to put on each corner of our hold down bracket. And I'm putting a little pressure on it just so it doesn't move around until I get a couple screws started. Okay. Now what I do is I go around and I finger tighten these. And then I'll get the screwdriver and finish up tightening them. But again, guys, don't go crazy tightening. It's not going anywhere. There we go. Got it started. Now I can use my screwdriver to just snug them down a little bit. And I'm going to do them when I start feeling a little pressure. I'm going to then tighten them opposite each other until they're just snug. There we go. Nice. Okay, now here I'm going to go ahead and take off this because I can plug this in my motherboard. This is the pump motor power. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got 2 power connectors up here for fans and for pumps. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the top one. I know you can't see this, but I got that one plugged in the top. This is RGB, so I'm going to put it out the back like I did the other ones. And we'll connect all those here in a second. And then I've got these other fans that need to be connected. So I'm going to go under this bracket. And I've got fan header right here. Got a fan header right here. So I'll put that one on. And I've got this other one up here. These are 4-pin. There we go. Then, to clean this up a little bit, I'm going to hide these under here. And we'll tie them all together here in a minute. So, there it is. Okay, guys. So here's this GameMax power supply RGB, which is kind of fun. Let's take a look at it. All right, comes with a couple wire ties and the screws to put it in the case. Here's the extra cables, because this is a semi-modular. Okay, and it comes with all kinds of warranty cards and cool things. Please only use Game Max original cables. Yeah, sometimes they are picky. Well, that's really nice. It has Eco. Now what Eco does is it turns off this fan. I don't like to use it though. I'd rather have the fan on. There's your on-off switch. Now it has the necessary cables already hooked up. Okay, so we've got some ready to go. Let's get it in the case. Okay, now on the back of this case, there's a bracket that they put in this case. Now, this bracket is to use a SFX power supply, which is a smaller power supply that you can use with this case. But I've got a full size, so I'm going to use it. So let's take these 4 screws out. Okay, so there's the bracket out. Now, let's go ahead and slide this in here. Now, we're going to put the fan down so the air blows out, okay? But let's go ahead and undo this cable package so we can get started. All right. Mount it in the side. Okay, so there it is. Now we just got to line up the 4 screws and put those in. All right, be right back. Okay guys, there it is. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. There's a lot of cables for this when you got RGB and everything, and it's a smaller case. There's not a lot of places to attach things to. And you got all these little labels. I leave these labels on for the customer because it shows you the direction the cable has to go. Here's your controller for the RGB and everything. So let's put the side cover on this and get over to the other side and see what it looks like. Okay, there it is. Nice. Now, over here, we've got a couple of cables that are kind of ugly. We'll tuck those away too, get those out of the way. So there it is. The only thing I need to put in here now is the graphics card. So on that, what you have to do is take these screws loose to lift this panel up, and just need 1 screw for this card. So we'll take that one out. Now this cable right here for the audio connector right here, you got to push it down and get it all the way down so the card goes over top of it. Okay. We'll just get it in its slot. There we go. And snap in. Put a screw on it. And I like to leave a little room there so the cables get in nice and good. Okay, now we're ready to start this EFI on this thing, okay? But that, guys, will be in tomorrow's video. So for right now, we're just doing the video for the building the computer. And tomorrow, we'll have the EFI build for this thing. And we will see how it runs, okay? Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow on the second part of the iTX Z490 ASRock i9-10850 build. All right, see you tomorrow.